If you've spent any amount of time on the internet, you've likely come across the MBTI before. You've probably seen someone's profile that had those little four letters next to it and wondered what exactly is an INFP. What is the MBTI and why should you use it? MBTI stands for Myers Briggs Type Indicator. It was created by a mother daughter team in 1962. And these days, it is largely used in school and business settings to help the managers and teachers better understand and communicate with their students and employees. So it is really, really great at helping you understand how to interact with people who don't necessarily think or process things the same way that you do. That is the best way to use the MBTI. This is how it should be used in bettering interpersonal communication. There are some people who use it as an excuse for their bad behavior, but we don't want to do that. So we're going to stay away from that and we're going to stick with using it to help you communicate better with other people and understand other people better. What are the types? Here we have these 16 different types. These are the letter combinations that you will have seen in people's profiles or next to their name. If you will notice, I have grouped them into 4 different groups. So while there are 16 different types, there are 4 main categories, and we group them together based on kind of like the vibe they give off. So up in the left top corner, we have the ESFP, the ESTP, the ISFP, and the ISTP all grouped together. Now their vibe is very much of the doers, the get your hands on things, go dig out in the dirt, be active, and really doing something physically. That's their vibe. Up in the top right corner, we have the purple group, the ENTP, the ENTJ, the INTP, and the INTJ. And their vibe is really the thinkers, the creative thinkers, the ones who are going to brainstorm and figure stuff out. The planners, the plotters, that kind of group. Down in the bottom right corner, we have the ENFP, the ENFJ, the INFP, and the INFJ. They are very much the feelings-oriented group. They care about group dynamics, group feelings, their own feelings, how things make them feel or make other people's feel. That's really their vibe. They're very much people and feelings people. In the bottom right corner, we have the blue group, the ESFJ, ESTJ, ISFJ, and ISTJ. These guys are very much liking of things staying the same, routine, order. They like to know what's coming and be very comfortable in what has always happened. What do the letters mean? Here we have the 4 basic dichotomies of Myers Briggs. This is what Myers Briggs is at its core, and technically, if you can figure it out, you can use these dichotomies alone to figure out your type. Oftentimes it is much more complicated than that, but this is a great place to get started. We have extroversion versus introversion, which describes how you gain energy. So do you recharge from being around people or from being alone? We have sensing versus intuition, which is how you gather information. Do you take in the raw data that's right in front of you, or do you need it to have a little bit more meaning? Raw data would be sensing, and having a little bit more meaning and things behind the scenes is intuition. Feeling versus thinking. This is how you process information. So feelers process information based on how it makes them or other people feel, and thinkers process information based on the logic behind it. So this would be the people who either make a decision based on what they feel about it or make a decision based on the facts. Then last we have judging versus perceiving, which is how you like to have your life organized. Are you a judger who wants things to be laid out very, very routinely? Do you want a list? Do you want a schedule, things like that? Or are you a perceiver who is really good with going with the flow? Even if you have a list, you'll probably throw the list out and do what you wanted to do anyway. Things are okay to change if you're a perceiver. So that is Myers-Briggs at its core, at its heart. But if you are not sure, based on those very brief descriptions, you are not alone. Myers-Briggs is very complicated. And while this is a great place to get started, there is a lot more to it, and we are going to get into some of that today. How do you find your type? It is highly likely that based off of the brief descriptions I gave you on the previous slide, you will likely not have found your type, but you might have an idea of where you're going to fall in general. Sometimes people feel very, very strongly about one or the other, and it's very easy to find their category. You might be 100% certain that you are an introvert, or you might be 100% certain that you are a feeler, or something along those lines. But a lot of people, because this is essentially a sliding scale, how far do you go to either side? A lot of people wind up being really close to the middle on each of those. So you need a lot more information to be able to figure out which one you are. So there's a bunch of different methods for that. The first one is, of course, taking the official Myers Briggs test. This is an institution that was created a long time ago, and it has been going since. And there are official tests. There are people who've been trained to administer them. You can go there, you can pay for the test, and you can take an official test. Now, even if you take it, you will be told that this is a starting place. This is probably the type you are, but you should do a little more research and figure out if it really rings true for you. And that is going to be the case regardless of your method of finding your type. In the end, you are the only one who knows what's going on inside your head, and you are the one who's going to have to be completely positive that you have found the right type for you. So next we have having a non-official Myers-Briggs expert type you. Now there are official Myers-Briggs experts you can go to outside of their official website. There are also people who have been studying this extremely well for many, many years that you can find on forums, even Reddit. There are a couple of decent people. I'd be careful, but occasionally you can find someone good. There's a bunch of Tumblr blogs where people know what they're talking about and they can help you type yourself. Finding an expert is not a bad way to do it. And if you can find one you like and you kind of agree with, it can be a great way to do this. But again, it is just a starting point, and you're going to have to figure out if it really rings true for you in the end on your own. Now, there are many other online options. That would be unofficial tests. That would be blogs. There are some really amazing blogs. That would be Tumblr posts and Tumblr blogs. That would be YouTube videos. There's lots of places you can go to find more out about this stuff or to do tests that are good starting places, and you can kind of figure it out from there. One good method for this is actually to take a bunch of tests. So if you go and take like 10 different MBTI tests, and you can see where they are making sense and where they are all agreeing. So it's possible you take 10 different tests and they all give you different types, but the one thing that always holds true is that you are a thinker type. Then you have at least narrowed it down to half of the types. And you can keep doing that and keep narrowing it down until you are completely positive about what each of your 4 letters are. Now, in the end, what you're going to want to learn about is the functions. This is what the original Myers-Briggs test was based off of. They are these cognitive functions and ways of being that Carl Jung came up with a very long time ago. They are introverted thinking and feeling, introverted sensing, and intuition, and the order in which you combine them gives you your 4-letter type. And this is what Myers-Briggs is at its core. Even if you go to their website, they will talk a little bit about the functions, but they do try to simplify it and keep it to the different letters just to make it easier for everyone. We will go over the functions in a different video though, because it is a very in-depth topic and we don't quite have time for it today. That is all I have for you today. I'm sending you off to go find your type. If you need help with any of it, I'm going to have a lot of links below this video to different websites and places that I think are very helpful. I will also have a link to my Discord where there is a section for discussing Myers-Briggs typing and asking people for help. I will also have a link to my Twitch where you can come stop by a live stream and ask questions if you would like to, and you're of course welcome to ask questions underneath the video as well. So happy typing, everybody. I will see you next time.